Hi guys! Happy Wednesday! Happy Dawn Day! Happy Glitter Pit Day! We are stamping today. We're going to be making a really cute card, doing a really awesome technique that I've been seeing blowing up on my YouTube channel lately. It's called the Blackout Embossed Background. Blackout Embossed Background. I seen Lydia from Understanding, I think it's Understand Blue or Understanding Blue. And then I also seen Frenchie's video on her blackout embossing. So I'm going to put my little twist on it. So I'm going to point the camera down and we're going to talk about a little bit of announcements really quick. And then we'll jump into this really amazing technique. All right, so here is the current host code. Please do not use this host code on orders $150 or more. Remember, you're going to get your own Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up to use for free stuff. Use this host code for a small gift towards the late part of May. So use this host code on any orders under $150 and you'll get your small gift towards the end of May. Also, you can still sign up for my paper share. It's not too late. It is getting close though. I think I'm ordering all the paper on May 13th, so I'll be home in a few days from Mexico. And I'm going to be ordering all the designer paper from the 24 through 25 annual catalog. So it's not too late. Just shoot me an email really quick. Put in designer paper share in the subject title if you want me to answer you right away. And hopefully it doesn't go to my spam, but I will look for you guys. And then thank you everybody that's already signed up for the paper share. All right. And then there should have been an email that went out to pre-order now. Okay. So be looking for that. Also, it's not too late to join my In Color Club. I have not even broke down the clubs yet, so you can still sign up, get your spot for the In Color Club. This is going to be a series of 5 months. So there is a commitment of 5 months to sign up for. But at the end of the 5 months, you're going to get all the brand new in colors, the ink pads, the markers, the ribbon, and the cardstock. Oh my. So let me know. The sign up for both the paper share notification and the In Color Club are listed down below in the description box. All right. Yay. All right. So a little disclaimer. I had seen these videos popping up on my YouTube channel with this blacked out embossed background technique. And you guys know I love fun folds, moving cards, pop-up cards, but I do have a soft spot in my heart for techniques too. Now I'm going to show you a couple cards that I made ahead of time and I'll give you my feedback. All right, so these are the 3 cards that I had already previously made. Aren't they beautiful? This was actually white cardstock, believe it or not, and I'm going to show you everything that you're going to do. And then this one is using the Bubble Bath, which is also white cardstock. And I made all my cards into birthday cards because I always need birthday cards for my team. So this one is using the Summer Splash. Isn't it gorgeous? So now this one is using the Night of Navy for the blackout part. So the blackout comes from using like a black ink pad. Now I'm going to put a little disclaimer in here because we do not have a black ink pad that's a foam pad. Let me describe this to you. So this is our basic gray, and this is the color I'm going to actually use today. So I guess it should be the gray out, the gray out embossed background. I really, really love it with the foam ink pad. And the foam ink pad looks like this. You can tell there is a difference. These are more like cushiony. Can you see that from the side maybe? They're a little bit padded. And it's foam. And the Memento ink, which is the black ink that we have, and we also have, I believe we still have the StazOn. These are like a felt or a mesh maybe. These are not soft. This is more of a hard ink pad. So these 2 cards here are the ones that I made with the Memento ink. You can still do it. It's just a little bit different, and I'll show you maybe on a sample when I make mine with the black on how I did it. But I prefer the foam ink pads, which is the basic gray or the Night of Navy. Any of our classic ink pads, they are the foam ink pads that you'll want to use for this technique, all right? All right, now I'm going to be making a Daffodil Delight background with the basic gray. Now I did do one with the basic, or not with the basic black, but the Memento ink. So I will show you the comparison to the both of the ink pads and why you might want to look into using your foam ink pad too. All right, but first we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get my embossing, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine over here. And we're going to do some embossing. I'm going to show you exactly what to do for this technique. I'm going to move my picture so you guys can see exactly what my what I'm going to be doing with my embossing machine. So this is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It die cuts and it embosses. And the most important part of this technique are the embossing folders. And you might remember years and years ago, we used to do embossing with the light table. Do you guys remember that? I signed up right when that was coming out. And we had these metal plates that we took a stylus and then we engraved, or we pressed down the cardstock following the little engraved metal plates. Now we have these amazing plastic 3D embossing folders. Now this one is a brand spanking new one, and it is in the annual catalog, as well as this one. And you can tell this one is huge. I think this one's actually 6 by 8 in size. It's really, really big. And then this one is also a 3D embossing folder. 3D embossing folders compared to the other, like the standard embossing folders, you're going to get a really nice impression with your standard embossing folders, but it's the 3D impression that you're going to get that makes your background really pop, like this one here. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it. All right, so 3D embossing folders are really nice for this technique, and I'm going to show you here. I'm going to use this layered floral 3D embossing folder. This is so beautiful. And I'm just going to take a piece of basic white, and this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to put this in the folder, and then we're going to, oh, I need my plate. Hold on, I need my base. Forgot to bring that over. So your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you're going to need for the 3D embossing folder, you're going to need plate number 1, which is your platform. And then, of course, your embossing folder and your cardstock inside, just like that. And we're going to set that on the platform. And then you're going to need your plate number 4. Now, when you purchase the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you're going to get all the layers. You're going to get your 2 acrylic plates. You're going to get your plate that you need for die cutting, and then you're also going to get your plate number 4. So you're going to need plate number 1, your 3D embossing folder with the cardstock, and then number 4, and then you're just going to go ahead and crank that through your emboss machine. It's very easy. Let me show you how beautiful this is. Look how pretty. Now this is actually the emboss side, but on this technique, we're going to do it on the back side, which is called the debossed. So it's going into the cardstock, whereas this is puffing up. You can see the puffed up image here, and then you can see the debossed is going inside. This is the side we're going to use for this technique. All right, so let me go ahead and move all these plates and the machine. Okay, so this embossing folder, actually, let me measure it. This is the extra large one that's in the new catalog. This one is actually 8.5 by 6, and it will work in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. As you can see, it's the same width, it's just bigger. Okay, so I just wanted to give you the actual measurement on that. All right, we're going to make the basic gray with the daffodil. Now, there's a few different ways you can do this blackout technique, and I'm just going to show you one, but I'll kind of highlight the other ones. I'm going to be using your blending brushes. I'm going to add my Daffodil Delight, and then I'm also going to show you another way you can do it with the Stampin' Blends. Okay, so I'm going to use the daffodil to apply the ink to the flowers. And then I'm going to go back in and take my Stampin' Blends. This is the Granny Apple Green Light Stampin' Blends. And then I'm going to color in the leaves of my flowers, and then also the center of the flowers. All right, so we're going to first apply our ink to our deboss side. You can see here I'm on the deboss side. That's the embossed. Oh, you know what? I'm going to grab some scrap because this is going to get kind of messy, especially when I bring the basic gray in. So I'm using these cardboard pieces that come like on the front and the back side of our grid paper that we also sell in our store. So I'm just going to use this piece of, it's like cardboard here, so you can see where the grid paper would be inside, and this is just empty. So I'm going to use this for my scrap, okay? So we're going to bring in the daffodil and my blending brush, and I'm going to apply the ink, and I'm going to be very generous with this daffodil because I want my flowers to pop. So I'm going to apply the ink over top of all the flowers, and I'm not being very careful to like not go outside the lines because I'm going to be adding the basic gray, which is a lot darker than my daffodil. So I'm just going over this whole background to make sure I get all my flowers covered with this daffodil. And you can see some of the flowers are grabbing the ink a little bit more, which is going to be really pretty when I add the darker color over top of that. And of course, you can go as light as you want or as dark as you want with this ink application here. I just like them to really be popping off the cardstock. So I'm just applying my ink in a circular motion. We have two sizes of our blending brushes, and I was going to show you the small ones, but I can't seem to find my small blending brushes. And what I do with my blending brushes, I usually put one color to a blending brush. So I have like my daffodil, my lemon lolly, my Cajun craze. Oh no, sorry, not my Cajun craze, my crushed curry. Crushed curry, lemon lolly, all my yellows would use one brush. Then all my blues would use one brush, like my boho blue, my balmy blue, my pool party. Then I have that brush. Then I have like pinks and reds and greens. So you can see I don't need that many brushes. I just designate one brush per color group. But I do know some people that like to have a brush for every color. But when I'm changing colors, especially if it's in the yellow family, I'll just take it and go over some scrap paper to clean it. Or you can actually take it to the sink and kind of wash it with some Dawn soap and then let it air dry. You can also take a microfiber little cleaning brush like I have here. And you can see that I've done this before with my blending brush as I clean it. So you can just rub it across your microfiber, which these are great for cleaning glasses and stuff too, for those of you that don't wear glasses. My husband has one in every place, in his motorcycle, his truck, my truck, just for cleaning his glasses. And they have to be new. They can't be washed or anything. Okay, so you can see here, isn't this beautiful? Just like that. Even I'm going to add a little bit more ink over here. So what I was saying is once you clean the brush, then you can change to another shade of yellow. So that's what I do personally. And it doesn't matter how you clean it. You will, if you do use water and soap, you'll have to let that dry. Okay? All right, so once we get our ink applied to all the flowers, for this case, for this embossing folder, now I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green Light Stampin' Blends, and you can see right where the leaves are on this embossing folder. So the leaves have little lines on them, so you can see right here's a leaf. Here's a leaf. And I'm going to color in that leaf with my Stampin' Blends. Can you see that? And I'm trying to stay within that debossed area, but I have not been very good at that, and it still gets covered up. So don't worry if you go over the lines, but I'm just going to color in the inside of my flowers and the leaves with the Granny Apple Green Stampin' Blends. All right, let me just do this up here. It does go actually pretty fast, especially if you use the blending brush. Now you can also color in each of the flowers if you wanted to with your Stampin' Blends marker. Like this one here. Oh wait, I got another sample. This one here, this was a sample that I was testing out. This one I used the Bubble Bath Stampin' Blends and the Parakeet Party Stampin' Blend. And then over here is the one where I used the Peach Pie with the Stampin' Blend coloring in the leaves. And you can see they're both very vibrant. And it doesn't matter if you use the Stampin' Blends or if you use your blending brush. The application will still look amazing. It's just whatever one you prefer to do, okay? And I'll show you those again at the end of the video. And if you miss one, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just going to be so beautiful. It doesn't look very pretty now, I must admit. But once you add the blackout technique to it, oh, it just makes everything pop off the page. It's so pretty. Okay, I think that's about it. You can also go back over if you want the, like I'm going to go back over the center of the flowers to make them more green, like brighter. Another thing too with this technique is the brighter the color, the more of a pop it's going to have on your finished card. Oh, look how pretty that is. So I colored in all the centers of the flowers and then I colored in the leaves. That's all I did. Okay? Pretty easy. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to use the basic gray ink. And like I said, I've done the Memento ink and I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a sample with the Memento ink to show you the difference because it is a different type of ink pad base. And this one is the foam. If you get our new ink pads, they are foam ink pads. So we're going to turn I locked my ink pads. So this is the way we open up our ink pad. Let me start over here. So this is our basic gray ink pad. You're going to open it by flipping up the lid and pulling it back and then pushing it forward. And then I'm going to lock that in just like that. Okay. So now I'm going to do a direct to paper technique, which is going to take the ink pad and then I'm going to drag it across this area. I know it's like, oh my gosh, she's ruining the project. No, it's going to make the blackout technique, make those flowers and leaves come to life. So we're just going to take our ink pad and I'm going to lay it on and I'm going to drag it across. Ah, look at that. You can do this a couple times. And remember, you want to turn your cardstock and apply your ink so you get it evenly applied. And this is where the foam ink pad does really good. It just grabs that cardstock, keeping your ink pad as flat as possible against the cardstock and just drag it across. And then of course you want to re-ink your ink pad to keep it nice and juicy. What's nice also with this technique is that the ink pad will grab and highlight and add shadowing to your flowers automatically. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. All right, now I'm going to show you one. We're going to do the same thing. I'm only going to do half of it though. So I took the exact same embossing folder. We're going to color the background. Let me do the daffodil again. Where's my brush? There it is. Okay, so I'm only going to do half of this so I can show you the difference with the Memento ink. It can be done, but I found that using the Memento ink, making circles with the ink pad to get it to apply because it's almost too stiff of an ink pad. You know what I mean? But you can do it. It's just going to take you a little bit longer and it might be kind of blotchy. Whereas when you use a foam ink pad, you're going to get a better application and coverage on your cardstock. Okay, so that's good. I'm just going to do half like I said. And then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green again. I'm going to color in my flowers. I'm going to do this exactly the way I just did my other one. So you guys can see the difference between the Memento ink and the foam pad with the basic gray. And also the basic gray, when I put it on, it does look kind of dark. but it will lighten up. And I'll show you one that's totally dry that I did earlier. And it really makes it a little bit softer, which is what I really like about it too. But I like the black too if it was bold, black, solid. But the Memento ink just doesn't give me that look that I like. So you guys can make your decision on which one you guys want to make. Okay. All right. So there's my leaves colored in. All right. Now I'm going to re-ink my Memento ink. This is why I'm a big believer when you buy the ink pad, you might as well get the re-inker because you don't realize how much ink you're using until you start stamping and it's kind of faded and it's not stamping very crisp and clean. All right, so I just added some Memento ink to my Memento ink pad just to get that application a little bit better. Okay, and then we're going to take our black ink pad, and again, we're going to do the direct to paper. And this is a totally different ink pad base compared to the foam. So we're going to drag this across. Can you see it? It's not really, I mean, it's just a harder surface, that's all. So once you get your application on there, you might want to go back in and keeping your ink pad flat. See, it just doesn't get on. You see how it's kind of streaky looking? Right there. I mean, you can do it. I mean, it's just you're going to have to go back over it with the ink pad. Like I said, with the circular motion. You can also use a brayer if you have your brayer or our new brayer. You can use that too. So you can see it really grabbed more. Well, I guess not. See the basic gray one? I was going to say it grabbed maybe more on the flower, but it grabbed pretty good here for the shadowing and the highlights and stuff. But you can see the difference, right, with the black and the basic gray. So pretty. All right, now let's do one more, and then I'm going to put one card together with you using the black, or no, sorry, using the basic gray. Now I'm using the dotted circles one. Remember, we're going to do the deboss side. So again, I'm going to use the daffodil because I haven't made one yet with the basic gray. With the dotted one, I use the black and I use the Night of Navy. So I want to make one with the basic gray. So we're going to take our blending brushes and I'm going to apply my ink to my dots on the back side. Applying a heavy coat of ink. See, it goes pretty quick when you're using your blending brushes. And you could also do like a rainbow. You could do different colors. You could do red, pink, green, purple, blue. You can add all different colors just by doing, you know, your circle brushes say yellow. And then ink up another brush in pink. And then ink up another brush in purple. And you can just spot layer it and do it that way if you wanted to get more colors on your blackout background. It's beautiful. Just like this one here, when I did it in the multicolored, you could do that too. It's just adding different colors all over the background. That's it. All right, so we got that done. Now we're going to take the basic gray again. Let me move this black ink pad. Okay, so we're going to drag our, you know what, I'm going to re-ink this one too. I haven't done this one yet. Basic gray. Now the foam pads take the re-inker a little bit different. So I'm just going to make drops on the ink pad all over. And then I'm going to take a plastic spoon. You can use your bone folder. And then just kind of press that ink into the ink pad. So you can see the difference even just applying the ink refill and how it applied differently to the ink pad. All right, now we're going to do the direct to paper again. Oh, look at that. So pretty. Your fingers might get a little inky too. That's all right. That's the fun part. Just remembering to keep your ink pad flat. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. And see how the gray covers up. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Look at the black with the... See, the black is pretty too, but it's just kind of... I don't really know the word. It's not blotchy. It's just sparingly. Maybe that's a better word. It's just not as blacked out. Like if we had a black ink pad with their foam base ink pads like those, it would be amazing. It would definitely be blacked out. But the gray is gorgeous. So you can see the difference here. And then even the Night of Navy one that I used over here. Now this one I did with the different colors. I did this color over here with the Balmy Blue. And then I did the center with the Pool Party. And then I did Boho Blue on this end. So I took each color and I blended like a third of it. So this color was the Balmy Blue. This color was the Pool Party. And then this color was the Boho Blue. And then I took the Night of Navy, because our Night of Navy is just like the basic gray ink pad. It's a foam ink pad. And then I just dragged it across and it made all those blues just pop out. I love it. So you can see the difference even with the Night of Navy and the basic black. The basic black is still pretty, but it's just the coverage is not as vibrant, I guess. Okay. All right. Now let me put my card together just to show you with this technique, the background is the beautifulness of the card. So I'm just going to keep my card simple. I took the basic gray cardstock. Let me get my bone folder. Basic gray cardstock. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5. Let me remove this here. The base of the color is basic gray, and then the layer is the Daffodil Delight to kind of tie in like the background here. So I'm going to use this one here because this one's already dry somewhat. One thing too, you'll notice that if you put dimensionals or even adhesive on the back of here, unless it's liquid glue, you might take a little bit longer to adhere your cards together because you applied ink to the whole base of the card. So it just has to dry. So but this would be what this one would look like. So these pieces are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then the daffodil is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then the basic gray. Okay. So that really is the whole piece of your card. So the birthday greeting is going to be very simple. I'm going to use my liquid glue. Whoops. My liquid glue to adhere my Blackout Embossed layer to the daffodil. Just making sure I get all my edges down. Plus the liquid glue, you have a little bit more forgiveness on the lining it up. That looks good. Move it over just a bit more. There we go. And then I did grab some ribbon. It is retired. I don't really have that many colors of the ribbon, especially for the daffodil. So I did grab some retired ribbon, which is this ribbon here. And it's more of a lemon lolly color, but I thought, you know, it'd be still cute. So I'm going to cut a piece of this lemon lolly ribbon. I'm going to get my snips, my scissors here. Make sure I cut enough to put in a knot on the base of the card here. So let's turn this over here. Whoops. See, this is not laying down because it's still wet. I might have to go back to that once the card is made. But we're going to tie the ribbon. So once again, we're just keeping this card very simple because it's so dramatic of the embossing background with the colors that pop. And I'm just going to tie a little knot here on the left-hand side of my card. Just like that. I'm going to grab my scissors. just cut the tails off a little bit. Just pull that. There we go. All right, and then what I did is I stamped the word happy, which is from Love This Moment right here. I was going to use the smile, but I thought I'd make them into birthday cards. So I stamped happy, and then I used the greeting from the translucent florals, but I just used the stamp set. I used this happy birthday right here. And then what I did is I just separated the birthday from the happy, and then I cut out the happy with the stylish shapes. I'm going to put that on dimensionals. Put a couple on here. And then we're going to put this on dimensionals as well on the front of my basic gray. Just put a dimensional each corner and one in the center. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. All right, my husband is outside, so that's why my ringer is going off. Sorry. All right, we're gonna move that down a little bit more. Hold on. Let's move this down a little bit more. There we go. Right there is good. And of course, I'd put a piece of basic white on the inside for signing. And then just put your happy birthday greeting on the front of the card. Actually, I could put it over here by the bow. So pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. All right, now let me show you all the cards. Again, using these 2 embossing folders. These are the 2 3D embossing folders that I have. And then I'll show you these 2 here with the, this is the one that I made with the daffodil using the Memento ink. So you can definitely see the difference, right? It's just not as solid of a coverage. But you can keep going over it. But then I was afraid it was going to cover up all my daffodil. You know what I mean? It's still beautiful though. But the basic gray with the foam ink pad, you get a lot more coverage and a lot less, you know, doing it. Okay, so that's the black and the basic gray. And then here's the one with, again, the black with the summer splash. And then this one is using the Night of Navy as the blackout ink. Remember, I used the Balmy Blue, Pool Party, and the Boho Blue. I mixed up the circles, so it was like a ombre kind of an effect. But they were all still lighter than the Night of Navy. So the Night of Navy is a really good neutral color to make for your background, like black and the gray. And then this one is using the Memento ink again with the bubble bath. It's very pretty, don't get me wrong, it's still pretty, but it's just not a good coverage like the basic gray. And these 2 are using the basic gray for the coverages. And then remember, you can use the Stampin' Blends to color in your images. So like if you wanted to color in your circles, you could just color in each circle with a different color of your Stampin' Blends. And then pick your blackout color that you'd want to go over it. And then this is the comparison with the Stampin' Blends and then the blending brush. And they do the exact same thing. They make it really pop. Once you add that ink on the coverage of the blackout, that's what makes this technique so awesome. And then here's the one that we made earlier with the basic gray and the daffodil. And then here is the other half that I did with the Memento ink to show you that the difference in the coverage for the ink. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. Also, thanks for hanging out today. I appreciate you being here today. Give me a thumbs up if you liked today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next Wednesday right here live in the Glitter Pit at 3 o'clock Eastern. All right? Until later, I'll see you later. Bye!